This is Rosemary DeSena from Life is a Poem in English and La Vida es un Poema en Español. And today I am very privileged to introduce to you Samuel Domínguez, who is a writer, a Spanish writer who is coming to us today from Palestine, where he is a Spanish professor at the University of Birzeit. Birzeit?
Yes, I
Yes.
mean, I don't know how to pronounce that
Oh, in
properly in
English.
Arabic, so, so I assume that that's correct.
And I'll give my little intro and then you can explain who you are a little more. But I met Samuel via Substack. I was looking for, starting to work on my Spanish again, looking for poets. So I was typing in the little search bar anybody who had a Spanish title in their newsletter with poesía or poema or those kinds of things. And I found one and I subscribed to her, and a little box came up and asked me if I wanted to subscribe to some more people. And so I took a chance. The profile was, and it's still there if you go to the Substack, the profile was uh do you say fantasy in it? Anyway, fantasy writer writing
Yeah,
from Palestine. I
yeah,
have some Palestine neighbors that I was kind of concerned about their family over in Palestine. And so anyway, I just thought, oh, what a unique profile. We'll see what goes on here. And I think within 2 weeks I was uh, writing him to tell him how much I liked his stuff. So
yeah.
um okay, you can tell me a little more about yourself.
So as you said, well, I'm from Spain, so English is not my first language. So I'm sorry, I'm gonna break your beautiful English during this half an hour, 1 hour, whatever. So yes, and I live in Palestine, in Ramallah. I'm a professor here, as you said. And here in Substack, I write Miradero. That is that little profile that you find
Yeah.
thanks to that recommendation. I don't know who was that guy. Do you remember?
I think it was Isabel Pamo.
Oh my goodness,
She has
yes, obviously.
Poesia
Yeah,
Belsa or
yeah, yeah,
something.
because she's a poet, right? Yeah, yeah. Also, she
Actor,
is
right?
a actress as well.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. She's not that often now here.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes, and I write fantasy, as you said, when I have like those big projects outside of Substacks as novels and stuff like that. And here in Substack, I write Miradero. That is kind of that see through my eyes different things. I'm not only Palestine, but reflections and things about literature, little short stories. So it's kind of that full vision of myself daily in your inbox. So that's what I do here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice because it's a little bit, there's something for everybody, right? There's the fiction
Yeah.
people, there's essay people, people who are interested in learning about Palestine or learning about talking about literature. I'm one of all these topics are fine for me, you know. Oh, we're talking about literature today. I'm good with that. So um so the fantasy
Yeah.
so he has some novels out. One of the he's pushing some new novels, but this is the first one that came out last year.
Ah,
Caminos de Vuelta al Otro Lado del Alba.
yeah.
And so that came out a year ago. He has a new one that I don't have to show you because it is on its way in the mail to me from Miami.
Yeah.
The publisher is out of Spain, but they have this great thing where they have I don't know, outlet is the wrong word, but they have locations throughout the world where they
Yeah.
publish, they print it where you order it from. So you don't have to wait. It doesn't get printed in Spain. It gets printed in this case, Miami for the United States people, and so that's a nice way to distribute, I think, to get it out to
Yeah.
the people, out to
Yeah.
the people.
It's
Um,
lovely that is getting printed in Miami. I didn't know that. So that's great.
And if you go through, I mean, Amazon is great. I mean, it does the job, but when you order through the, Platero Cool Books,
Yeah,
it is in Spanish, but they personalized. Like, I get an email from the guy shipping it, like, "Oh, your order looks wrong. Can I help you?"
that's awesome. He told me.
So
Yeah, yeah,
I ordered several because I wanted to give some books away here, and the publisher or the whoever was putting it together said, "Something looks wrong with your order. Are you sure you want to? Are you sure this is what you ordered?" And I wanted to order X number of one book and X number of the other book, and
yeah.
I ordered all the same book. So we
Yeah, yeah.
got, we
I
got
told
it
you because
fixed
I
before they
saw
shipped
the
it.
screenshot. I saw the screenshot and the cover was the same for both orders. And I
Oh
was, are
yeah,
you sure that
yeah.
you're ordering the one that you want?
We'll
And
also
also
figure
that
that out.
guy,
Like, oops.
yeah, the
So
printing
anyway,
guy
long story
also,
short,
yeah,
the customer service is great. They actually have a person emailing you personally to tell you that it's happening. It's not. I mean, I'm sure there's some automation, but they're really paying attention to the orders. So anyway,
that's
that's
so
my
nice
plug
to know
for
that.
going through the publisher itself. um, so I wanted to ask about. So you've told your story in Spanish a lot, about
Definitely. Yeah.
um, growing up in Canary Islands and going. So did you go to school before you went to the military?
Always,
Did you,
I mean, school or
I
college?
mean,
Well,
college, university?
college. I
Oh,
did one year of college, but from a different bachelor degree that the one
uh,
that I end up having. That I'm a philology. I don't know if you use that term in English, but it's kind of Spanish studies or Spanish literature and
okay.
language, something like that. That's philology.
Yeah.
So before I went to the army, I just took one year of college, but back there in Canary Island, and then I just quit and I went to the military.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And so what point did you decide like literature was going to be your thing? Cuz
Yeah, I mean, I have been writing all my life, like, but following that inspiration or something, like, I feel like writing, and you write, right? So right now I'm writing more like a professional style, like I have my slot times in my week, and I just respect them, right? But at that point, I was writing when I had an idea, I had time or something like that. But it just happened that during my period in the army, I started to read a lot. Like probably, well, later in the when I was in the bachelor degree, I read also a lot. But in that period, yes, I started to consume a lot of Spanish literature and English literature. And I think that at that point that reactivated that passion that I thought that was a hobby or something like that.
mm-hmm.
And at some point, I just decide, okay, I can just invest my life here in the army for I know, for all my life, or I can follow this weird thing that I'm feeling of writing and try to make this my living and my life. So I just slowly started to take that path, and I'm here right now. So
Yeah.
I'm glad to that I took that decision for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And then I know in the United States, the master's degree, there's always like a debate
A
as
debate?
to
Why?
a debate because they are expensive to
Um,
pay for, and then you don't know if you're gonna get a job. So
so
I mean,
we're
for the creative writing people who are like, so like when I'm poet and I thought like, oh, I could get a master's in poetry. People do. But then I literally was like doing the math and going like, okay, but I don't want to be a university professor, like
definitely, yeah. Can I ask
so
you how much it is? A master's
oh, it
there?
just keeps going up. I don't know, like undergrad is like so when I okay, I've been out of school for 30 years.
Yeah.
But, when
Yeah.
I was going to school, I was, like, I went to a small it's we call it college because there's no
Uh-huh.
upper level. It's 4 years of college as opposed to, a university which has masters and
Okay.
PhDs.
Okay.
But I went to a private school, private Christian school, and it was like expensive for the time, and that was like 18,000 a year. That might have been with room and
Mhm.
board, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And now you're looking at like 50K a year for
Yeah.
some
Goodness.
schools. So we have loans.
Yeah, yeah.
But
It's I know that.
it's a long way to pay it off. So anyway, my long story was the question was, did you, and I know it's different in Spain, like
It's
I
it
think
is.
it's very different, but um do you feel like the masters
We don't have the
was
same problem about
uh,
like the price of the masters
yeah.
because I think that we're extremely lucky in Spain with that. I didn't pay anything for my master's degree, for
Oh
example,
wow. Okay.
because we have scholarships and stuff like that. And I
Mhm.
had at that point in my undergrad, well, the bachelor degree, I had like a good average. So I just
Mhm.
got a scholarship to take to course the master's degree. So in my
Mhm.
case was free.
Oh wow.
But
That makes it worth it.
yeah, if you
So
take one of those university masters,
mhm.
because I assume that it's the same in the United States that you have a official master's degree and some private master's degree that they don't have the I don't know the backup of a university, let's say.
Mhm. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
if you usually those master from universities around 2,000 euros, something like
Oh my
that.
god.
4,000 euros. If I'm talking about literature and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
If you
yeah, yeah.
go to medicine or you
Yeah,
go to
right.
tech, probably it's going to be different.
Yeah.
But yes, it's pretty affordable. It's
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
super affordable and it's a quality, I don't know, yeah, level.
Yeah. So you feel like, from the teaching standpoint, it was worth it to do the masters.
I mean, I don't know if you know, but I did a master's in creative writing. So
Yeah.
it's very similar to that poetry masters. So finding a job with that master is not that easy. But I didn't want to work in a publisher, or I didn't want
Mhm.
to do that type of support literature jobs. Let's say I just
Yeah.
wanted to be a writer, right?
Writer, right.
So after the master degree, I just went to Australia and I just become a professor there. Well, a teacher first and then a professor.
Uh-huh. But from a, like, learning how to write perspective, do you feel like it was helpful?
Ah, okay, okay. Yes, definitely. Yes.
Oh,
I
okay.
got those foundations, let's say,
Mhm.
more theoretical and the masters was kind of a 50-50, like
Mm.
very practical, but also those theories about literature and more, yeah, theoretical. But yes,
Mhm.
was worth it for sure.
Mhm.
Definitely.
Mhm. Yeah. Um, yeah, I like learning, but it's, like, been the whole university thing was, hard for me, but,
In
um
what way?
just, learning. So in my case, the theoretical part, like, I didn't some of the classes you couldn't they were too busy, too full to
Okay.
take. So class I should have taken my freshman year, my first year. I took it was like the last class I took was
Okay.
theoretical, some of the how to analyze literature kind of things. And
Yes.
so I was like finishing up my final year going, "Oh, this would have been helpful to
To
learn
know
these
this
things
all this
sooner."
time. Yeah, but I think that
So,
is because you have a different system there in the
yeah,
US.
yeah.
You have the major and minor stuff,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So we have like more, like when you
Focus?
are in the first, no, no, like I mean, when you are in first year, you need to take those courses. Like it's
Mm.
not you create your own plan. You're
Oh,
following
okay.
kind of a prefix plan or
Oh,
curriculum.
okay, interesting. Yeah. So, one of the other questions I was thinking about kind of language-wise was,
Mm.
so you're writing fantasy, and, for that, um, I have some friends who write fantasy also, maybe
Mhm.
they're not, some are published, some aren't, but the question is between the characters and, like, you're building the world, right? Because it's fantasy,
Yeah.
and then there's the character development. And I
Yeah.
did have a talk with one person recently who said, I asked him about his world building techniques and what kind of
Hmm.
fantasy he did and everything. And he was like, "Oh, please don't tell me about the world building because see so many fantasy writers forgetting about the characters."
I mean, like the as you said, the importance of the character. Yeah,
Yeah, like it's
I
all
think
about
that.
the world, but then what are the characters doing in it?
Yeah,
But I feel
it's
like you've done a good job in melding those two worlds, and I didn't know how that went for you when you were writing it.
okay. First, I appreciate that you're feeling that my characters are not just little dolls there, that they have a personality or something. So that's really nice. Um, I think that makes sense because it's really easy to fall in love with your world that you created, and you
Mhm,
want to make that thing the big character of the novel. Like my world is the truly important thing. The other characters are not that interesting. So, but as you said, I think that I come from the traditional literature, let's say, or the
mhm,
classics of literature, where
mhm,
the main focus is on the character and on
mhm,
that psychology of the character, of that, yeah, progression of how that character change through the novel, right?
mhm,
So yes, definitely, I try to write fantasy, but also write literature. And the literature,
mhm,
the interest of literature is that expressions of emotions and how a human being can just go through all those circumstances, right? So I think
mhm,
that is really interesting to match them,
yeah,
even more when you're talking about a world that it doesn't exist. So how will a human live there with
mhm,
all those fantasy new rules and stuff? So I
mhm,
think that
mhm.
is definitely something mandatory to
Yeah, yeah.
remember the.
Is it hard to okay, the other question is, so Samuel does serialized fiction in his newsletter Miradero, which
Yes.
basically means that every week he's building on a story little by little, and the readers get to determine. Actually, it's started off pretty simple, and now it's getting pretty complicated. But in the beginning, it was a poll, like at the end of this little chapter, what is the character? You have three options, and then you choose your plan, and the winner.
Yeah.
Now now the readers are building characters,
Yes.
building extra characteristics of the
Yeah.
world that we're in.
Definitely.
Um,
The new world is built by them.
so how I guess I mean it's fun for us. I guess it's fun for you, otherwise you wouldn't offer it. But you're
More than
writing
fun,
it.
yes.
You're basically you can't write ahead, right?
No, and that's the exciting part of that, that I need to improvise everything. As you said, that they create the characters. Like, and for example, the first character has only one leg. So she had an accident. So you need to say, okay, how is going to affect this to this character, like in the full story? Like I'm taking this character and throwing into a fantasy world, how this person is going to handle that, right? But that's exciting because I have my other part of creative process where I can command everything. I can just
Mhm.
decide what's gonna happen, how is this character, and why this is useful to me to these characters have these characteristics. But this is kind of an exercise to my creativity, maybe.
Mhm.
Like you never know what is gonna happen, and you need to just build something interesting with the tools that you have or the tools that the readers give you.
But it's also because you are keeping to your schedule, so it's like Tuesdays or Saturdays or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Is it hard to move? I mean, obviously, we're giving you what's coming next, and then or maybe you're just in a routine where you can I mean, is it hard for you to, like okay, for me, I'm not in that place yet where like I write poetry. I've tried fiction. I want to try it again, but I'm not in a flow place where I can just sit down and start writing stuff. But
Hmm.
I would spend way too much like if I had a Tuesday deadline and I get every all the readers on on Monday night are giving me the answer. I don't know.
Yeah,
It feels like a I mean, I
yeah,
think it's
yeah. I
cool,
get
but
it.
is it hard to, like, decide how because
Yeah,
in fantasy, the thing is because it's in fantasy, because you're creating you're creating an action that's gonna affect well, I guess in any fiction thing, but you're
yeah,
creating an
yeah.
action that you're gonna have to figure out, for instance,
What
does
is
it
gonna
fit
happen with that? Yeah.
and does it fit in the world or you just created something that you have to figure out, like, you have to do the background story on to figure out how to
Mhm.
move it forward. So I didn't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. But have in mind that, for example, that fiction series that you're talking, that is Antes de rendir el alma, right? That is the one that is with those polls and the readers taking decisions and stuff. It's based on Caminos de Vuelta. So I
Yeah,
know really well that universe, and I
okay.
know what I have a lot
You've
of work
created the
done.
universe, you've kind
Yeah,
of
yeah. So I know what is possible, what is not. It's true that the new season of the series is in a new world created by the readers, but on top of that, I know the rules. I know
mhm,
how the magic works, for example,
mhm,
how it's possible, how it's not. So I have always my back covered
mhm.
in that aspect. That thing about deadlines, um, it's true that the poll is open until the day before of the new chapter, but usually you can tell how the poll is
Oh, really?
gonna end. Yes, yes. No, I mean not before I
Oh,
publish
okay,
it,
okay, but
but
throughout the week,
after.
people are
Yeah,
voting. Oh, okay, okay, so
the
you're
first
like,
people that vote
okay.
usually, yes, usually represent how it's gonna go the poll. Like
Uh-huh.
imagine that you have three options, you see that one has a 80%. It's like probably I
Okay,
need to work
so
it in
you're
this.
already thinking by the end of the week, like, it's
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
gonna be okay.
I have more than one day to think about it.
Uh-huh.
Usually, there are some
But
times
do
that the
you?
poll is
Because
really.
you have something to do you're doing a different newsletter every
Yeah,
day, so are you already do you have, like how do you kind of manage that with your you have your day job, you have
yeah,
different projects, and do you set aside time to think about these things, or are you just walking down the street going, "Ah, this is what's gonna happen?"
yeah. I think that is pretty natural because, as you said, like I write every day because I
Mhm,
publish Miradero daily. So my routine is pretty strict, let's say, or pretty solid. Like I work in the morning with my new novel, and I work for Miradero at the end of the day
mm,
after I come back from the university. So the thing is that I write the new chapter just the day before. I don't do any previous work during the week because I need to do other things.
yeah, right.
But it's true that you remember, I know that you like that series a lot. That is Afectados Crónicos por la Magia. That is, how
This
can you
is okay,
translate
so
that, Rosemary?
but it's in the archives if you
It
are.
is, it is, and it's open.
Oh, it's
It's
open.
not.
Okay, it's not
Yeah,
behind a
yeah,
paywall. Um,
yeah.
he was doing 2 fantasy, things at a time, plus the Palestine, plus whatever else he thought about, and this one I like because it's set in New York in the
Yeah.
1940s.
No, yes, 50s, 60s. Yes,
50s, okay, 50s, 60s.
yes.
Um, and the characters are fantastical. So, chronically affected, it's do you wanna give the really quick. I love
An
it.
explanation. Yes, you can
Okay,
do it
so
if you
it's
want. I know that
so
you love
it's
it.
so there is a mysterious something going around that's
Yeah,
chronically affecting people, so that it's like real world New York, but then people are morphing into things.
yes.
And so there's a team of investigative people who are trying to figure out why and how,
Yes,
and um
yes.
and
So, tell me, tell
it's
me.
humorous. So this is like what I love about it is it's fantasy, but I mean, it's just I don't know. You did a good job. I it was like each character has a very unique thing. I can see it like a movie, like you're reading it and
Definitely.
it's just laying out like a total like mini
Yeah,
series
yeah,
on TV or whatever, and everybody has their own little character, but it works and it's
yeah.
very in my mind it's very humorous. There's a lot of
Yes.
moments where
Yeah, yeah,
uh
I really appreciate it. And I know that you always tell me, please bring this
yeah, bring
series
it
back
back.
because
It's hard to
uh,
run too many stories at once, I
yeah.
guess.
And I
So
think that is I appreciate that thing about that is visual, that you can see a movie of that, because I think that I from since the very beginning I wanted to make it really visual, like because like the base of the series is those weird forms that people get because they're in contact with magic, right? So yes, probably I think that is pretty. Yeah, probably I'm gonna come back to Afectados Crónicos por la Magia. Yes, because I think that it has really a big potential. So
yeah. Yeah, I was enjoying it. And then of course the other series that's going on now is a lot more serious,
mhm.
but
Yeah.
I like just having well, you tell me how you feel. Like, obviously, you're doing these things every day. It's like a different part of you comes out in each day of writing, right? Some days you're
Mhm.
writing an essay. I'm not afraid to say to the readers and the people here that when he writes about Palestine, there've been a few. I mean, sometimes it's just a day, a little glimpse into it, but there are some like very what's the word? Um, I've just been brought to tears by some of the images that
Mhm.
I've been that come across, and um, and there's still the one I actually um quoted you in my own poem, but there's
Okay.
one that you wrote about looking at the hills outside
I think that I
and
remember that.
comparing it to a woman lying on her side.
It's one of my favorite for sure. Yes.
And so he wrote he wrote this essay that compared this anyway. I already said it, but he compared this the mountains outside of his apartment, the view from Palestine or wherever you were at that time, um,
Those time, yes.
to
Gaza.
to the profile of a woman lying on her side, and and anyway, I I had been writing a poem about uh missing the spooning of a lover kind of thing,
Mhm.
and he had the same image in his essay, which was completely I had not finished mine, but I hadn't seen his essay before he wrote it. So anyway, I ended up quoting him in my in my essay when I put it out. But things like that, where just the images really it's the image and the mood. I think that's
Mhm.
it.
Yes,
Um,
and I think that
is
is
it is
the
it is it hard for you? I mean, hard is the wrong word. Um, do you have days where you're just like in a mood and write like that, or do you have an idea that you're going to write about something and then get
I
yourself?
think that a little bit of both, probably.
Yeah.
There are some days that you feel more about writing poetry. I consider that short story that you said. I consider that poetry,
Mhm.
despite the fact that it's not in verse, because
Mhm.
poetry is an intention.
Yeah.
So there is there are some days that I feel more in that mood of
Mhm.
giving time to the text. That's important to be able to create those feelings and those images, powerful
Mhm.
images. You need to just don't rush. Just
Yeah.
um, so definitely, I there are some days that are more easy to write those images
Yeah.
than others. But it's true that, as you said, I have different topics. And probably it's easier to me to enter in that mood when I'm talking about Palestine, for example,
Mhm.
because I feel that it's easier for me to talk about Palestine in that, I don't know, mm, way of preserving Palestine in images
Mhm.
than talking about Palestine, like
Yeah.
politically, for example. I think that is
Yeah. But it's
more
I feel like
valuable
it's
for me.
more powerful, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. That's what I was about to say. That it's more
Yeah.
powerful to see Palestine through those images that just
Mhm.
telling, okay, those settlers went to that farm and just burned those olive trees. I prefer to create that little short story that I just
Mhm.
posted 3 days ago.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. So obviously it depends on the mood, but Palestine helped me a lot to enter in that mood, that giving
Mhm.
time to literature to grow somehow.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
And what you said that I changed my voice a lot. I
Mhm.
think that is true, and it's a really nice exercise as a
Mhm.
writer. That's why I recommend always to all writers to write daily and publish daily. It's not the same, but if
Yeah.
you do both, it's gonna be like a great exercise because that thing that you said, okay, you need to write a story for tomorrow. All that pressure that can be scary is actually
Mhm.
super helpful for your skills and to develop those abilities of I need to write today despite the fact that I don't want to write today. So and that's a really useful tool to have as a writer, definitely.
Yeah, it's I mean, for me, I write every day, but I do not publish every day.
Because yes.
There's 2 different things, but, I mean,
Mhm.
sometimes I can write a poem and it'll come out right away, without forcing it, and then other days,
Mhm.
like, I have some poems I've been sitting on for months because every time I come back to it, it's like,
That's totally normal.
not
Yes, yes.
quite right.
Yeah, yeah. But I think
So
that one need to create two different arenas or something,
mhm,
like the one that is for daily publishing and the
mhm,
one that is that big project, for example, a novel or a poem that you want to just work on it for longer. I think
yeah,
that is useful to create that two sides of production
yeah,
for a writer.
yeah. Yeah, and I do like the idea of so for instance, just not pegging yourself into one category. I mean, like, so
Mhm.
now that you've written 2 it's the same continued story, 2 novels, 1 long story, but do you feel compelled to are you gonna continue writing do you feel compelled to write fantasy just because you've done 2 already, or do you feel like you could
I will write about what I feel that I
whatever?
need to write.
Okay.
Yeah, 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 for sure. I know that it's supposed that there is a rule in marketing for writers that is just stick to your genre. Like,
Mhm.
don't write about other things because you're gonna confuse your readers. Imagine
Mhm.
that you are building that pool of readers of fantasy, and suddenly you create something romance or something. Is
Right.
those people are gonna be, man, we're waiting about a new fantasy novel, not about that thing that you
Yeah, right.
suddenly wants to write about.
Uh-huh.
So officially, let's say, you should do that. Like, you should
Uh-huh.
write one genre and just do it. But I think that that will be cutting my own development
Yeah.
somehow, like my progression as a writer. Like, if I feel that I want to write mimetic literature, that is, I think the official label is contemporary or something, or
Okay.
something like that. That
Mhm.
is that a story that happens in this reality without magic, without anything, and without mystery, just a true life story. If I
Mhm.
feel that I want to write that because it's valuable, it's meaningful, I'm definitely gonna
Yeah.
do it. And I think that my readers are gonna appreciate that.
Yes.
Like, they're not. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Well, I think having the newsletter with the different kind of topics helps because then you see
I'm
the diff
preparing them for that.
prepare, yes, prepare the readers. You have the different moods, the different, different
Yeah.
categories. One day you're super serious and the other day you're
But I think that is
I think
fine because actually Miradero is kind of a relationship. Like,
yeah.
when you're with somebody, like, you see that person happy, you see that person sad, you see that
Mhm.
person serious and talking about important things and
Yeah,
just having fun. So that's part of having a daily newsletter that is
yeah,
about everything in my life, that you're gonna
yeah,
see me in many different angles.
right. Yeah, I feel that way too. I mean, that's kind of one of the bylines for my poetry is, it's there for when you're sad, it's there when you're happy, it's there when you there's like a mood.
Definitely.
There's a mood
The
for
best way.
everything. And even like for me the whimsical part is really important. I think that's why I like the chronically affected by magic story so much
Mhm.
is it's important to have a little whimsy in your life,
For
and
example, that's what we were saying about preparing a text before the
mhm,
deadline.
yeah.
The only series where I did that type of work was with Afectados Crónicos por la Magia and Tierra en las Uñas. That was the previous one, the
Uh-huh.
previous series, because I had that feeling that, okay, this is meaningful. This is like, something that I want to publish every week, but I want to do it good and properly.
Mhm,
So I remember that at some point I started to work on that text, maybe 30 minutes every 2 days or something, but
mm, mhm,
just more than writing, just making that ideation
yeah,
process of creating what is going to happen, why this is going to be connected with something else.
mhm,
I at some point I needed to do that
mhm.
work.
And a little research, right? Because 'Cause you're not living in New
Yeah,
York, so
of course. Yes, yes. With your
in the
help as well.
1950s.
Yeah, yeah. With your help as well, that you told me something about some
Oh,
area.
yeah, no, there's a
Washington, I think.
his
I don't know.
characters went from New York to Pennsylvania where I grew up, and so I had to,
That's it.
I gave him a little, geography lesson on the correct routes that his characters might actually take to get to the
Yeah,
place they needed to get to. Now, there was fantasy involved, so there was some leeway there, but yeah.
yeah, yeah. That
That's
was
when you do
helpful
things
for
like
sure.
you're, like, looking up the speed of the highway, like, how many miles per hour can you go on the highway in 1962 or whatever.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That was fun.
Definitely, because I was taking the calculation by today's speed, for obviously. So yeah, yeah, and also
and
the
and
geographer.
I found
Yeah,
so I actually helped out with a little of that research, but after the fact, so this is a revision for later, but no, I found out that the speed limit has changed. So when I was growing up, I know we do miles per hour, but instead of
yeah,
kilometers, but, when I was growing up, it was 55 miles per hour in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And but I found out that it had gone actually up and down throughout the years. So
Okay.
now I think it's 65, but everybody goes 80, you know. But at some point in they had started at 70 and gone down to 50 and then gone so they actually over the years the mileage per hour based on their statistics about what was
Yeah,
best for everybody. So I thought that was fun.
that
And
was
that but
great.
see, that's okay. And I haven't written a lot of fiction, but that for me is it's the research is fun, and then you have to know when to cut it off so that you
Definitely.
actually get to writing the thing that you wanted to. And because
Totally, totally, totally.
I went down that rabbit hole and I hadn't even written the thing. I was just like, oh, let's see if I can help Samuel with some geography. And then 3 hours later, I was like, oh wow, it's
Yeah.
not even my story, but
It's not even my story. Yeah. But that's
um,
true what you said, that when you're writing, you need to know when to stop researching
yeah,
for your story. Because
uh-huh,
sometimes and that was an advice that professor told me when I was in that master degree, that sometimes we use researching and finding information as hills to not write, to not
yeah,
face the story, and to not start actually producing that
yeah,
text. So that's definitely something to have in mind. Yeah.
hmm, yeah. Uh, anyway, story building.
Story building.
uh, yeah, there's a lot, a lot on that theme. um, I would like to welcome some people here. We have about
Of
18
course.
people now. Some people I don't know yet. Elliot to Berman profile, Nelson, Ban, Kevin, Manuel, Enrique, Francesca, Dario, Andrea, David,
I think
Brad,
that is David because
Christina,
of
Mira.
the
Mira is here from
surname.
Palestine. Hola, Mira.
Mira, finally you're hearing an interview in English because you
Yes.
always.
Mira is one of the university students learning Spanish with Samuel.
Yeah, and
And
she's always in the Spanish interviews, but obviously this
yes,
is more easy to understand to her.
easier to do the English, yes.
Hmm.
It's good practice, though.
Yeah, yeah,
My Spanish skills have improved greatly by listening to everybody in Substack for the last year.
yeah. I can tell actually, like because you're exposing yourself a lot to Spanish here.
Yeah,
Like you have both communities in English and Spanish, but I think that you spend a lot of time with Spanish communities,
yeah,
and definitely that
yeah.
needs to have
That's
an impact in your learning for sure.
yeah, that's my new byline is gonna be how to learn Spanish.
Open a
Announce to
Substack.
the world that you're gonna write in Spanish even though you're not fluent, and then it's been working great actually.
I think so. Yeah, I
Uh,
should do the same, but in English to improve mine.
yeah, there's a lot. I think the social network part of it, when people are saying, "Oh no, another platform that's going social media," I think
Mm.
for me, the Substack platform has been like a dream come true for me because I've had this. I mean, I wanted to blog years ago when it was like the new thing. I never had
Mhm.
time to do it. Um, and I'm not the most techie person, so even getting my blogger website set up was like really bothering me. So I
Nightmare.
never
Yes.
ended up actually writing on it because I couldn't get my profile set up. But to be able to come in here and read people and writing, there's a notes section, kind of like the old Facebook, where we can
Uh-huh.
comment on people's things. I guess many people watching this will know that, but if this is on Spotify or whatever, you'll know. Substack has a wall like Instagram or Facebook, but you meet people that way, and then that's why we're here today.
Yes, definitely. And that's
we
what
can we
I
can
was
we
about to
can
say.
yeah, we can interview each other, we can read each other, we can
Yeah.
meet people. I've so that's how I've been really excited to kind of get to know
Yeah.
people and have these literary conversations that I've been wanting to have. And I left the university. Not that I actually have a lot of literary. I have friends who are writers and they write for fun, and some are
Mhm.
professional poets. It's not that I don't have anybody to talk to about this, but um, it is interesting because even in literary circles, I can get super excited about something and somebody else has zero interest in whatever it is, So two poets sitting side by side, it's like they have nothing to talk about. It's very interesting, but um, I do have a lot of literary friends in my current community in San Francisco, so that's been
Yeah,
unique, I think, to walk out my door and just be amongst the artists and the poets and the musicians. Not
definitely.
every community. I mean, there are artistic people everywhere, but they're not just like hanging out on the corner selling their book. There's a guy in our neighborhood he's here in San Francisco, but he's done a lot of Los Angeles style things. He's done screenplays and written books and
Mhm.
managed bands and stuff. And so he has a new book out about David Bowie.
Okay.
So characters. So
Yeah, but I
uh,
think that you're super lucky with that, like because for many people, Substack is the only place to have those conversations about maybe literature
yeah,
that is harder to have in their communities. But
right,
you have a really artistic
yeah,
scene in your own
yeah,
neighborhood, and that's incredible.
yeah. But here on Substack, you can, like I said, like you can find your niche. You can
Yeah,
find the
yeah, for
people.
sure.
You can find like who's who wants to do this thing in
Absolutely.
this little
Yeah,
weensy little category. So,
totally.
well, uh, I've been having fun.
I think that me
Okay,
too.
we didn't really talk about too much about the novel, so um do we want to say a little bit so this is for the bilingual people. I know we have some in our audience. It is in Spanish only at this point. If it's popular enough, we'll see what happens.
Yes.
um and uh and like I said, available on Platero Cool Books, Amazon.com in
Yeah,
Spain and
probably
in
the
America.
easiest way to get it in the US is through the publisher,
Yeah,
Platero, as you said. Because
yeah.
also, if you buy it on Amazon.com, it's gonna have another price, like
Oh,
super high price. I don't know why.
yeah,
So probably it's better to, if you're in the US, just get it from Platero. Yes.
yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it is a little more expensive than if you buy it in Spain with the euro because there's
Yeah.
the exchange rate and the normal taxes and all
Actually,
that.
I don't know why it's more expensive outside of Spain
Uh,
than in Spain. But
mhm.
I will ask about that
Okay, yeah.
because that's a, that's a
It's like
concern that I have myself.
yeah. So Caminos de Vuelta, this is the first one. Al otro lado del alba.
Yes.
Um, do you want to say a little bit about what it's about?
What is it about? Um, well, it is. If you show the cover, please, because that's something that people usually don't know. If you are not from Madrid or you have been in
No.
Madrid, that skyline is from Madrid.
Okay.
So the novel is about multiverse and different. You can.
Yeah, sorry.
No worries. The novel is about multiverse and different dimensions and stuff, but the base of the story it happens in Madrid, in real, like, actual Madrid, right? So there is a girl that disappears. Somehow different characters started to research that the yes, that kid, and they discover kind of a secret organization that they close interdimensional portals that we call brechas. They do that without, like, in secret, like nobody knows that that thing is happen every day in your city, right? So it's the story of those guys trying to understand what is happening with this organization and why those portals exist. And it's kind of journey through all the those big questions that we have, like why we are here, why we exist, what is happening after death. But everything with that fantasy um, sandbox or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And you do it like, so each chapter is a character, so you have to
Ah,
figure
yeah,
out who is speaking.
yeah.
And I it's I like it's like, so it's first person, but how many ever characters that are dragging you through the through the through the story. I actually there's only a couple of novels that I remember that, like, I feel like it's a very powerful technique. I mean, I feel like it's like you really do to know get inside each character, so you see the 360 view of the story from all the different characters.
Mhm.
And you also have not the child who disappears, but the another child who's in the story, moving it forward.
Ah, yeah.
um and Canito. So just having those different layers of people and different experiences from their different perspectives, I find really powerful. The other book that it reminds me of, completely different genre, but years ago, oh no, what's the name of it? Barbara Kingsolver did
Nice.
wrote a book, American author. She wrote a book about a the Poisonwood Bible.
Okay.
Poisonwood Bible. It's a story about an evangelical family that goes from America to Africa to bring religion to the people.
Hmm.
And so there's three children, the dad who's the pastor or whatever, and it's just like the way she kind of brought the characters forward. You only saw the like, there's a 5-year-old,
Hmm.
what is the 5-year-old seeing from Africa, so
Right.
it'll take, you'll wonder what this 5-year-old is thinking about, and then 3 chapters later you're finding out what was really happening from the mom's perspective or whatever. But I that reminded me of that. But just the powerfulness of getting those different perspectives, and also, you're very descriptive in descriptive what you're describing this pretty.
Yes.
but but
But I
the
think that is
details that one person is going to remember are going to be different than the details that another person is going to.
I'm sorry, what?
The details of like, the person in the story is going to
Yeah.
be experiencing, noticing different things about the world than the
Yes.
other people. So you're getting
Yes,
an
yes, yes.
interesting view
Yeah.
of the world from that
And that
perspective.
connect with that thing that we were saying about taking care of the characters, because when you
Mhm,
have a character as a narrator, that character is describing itself constantly, like the things that that character pay attention to is giving you information about the character too. So it's a easy way to
mhm,
go deeper in that character. And if you do that with multiple characters, so you create that kind of atmosphere of you understand what is happening or something like that. I think that is
mhm.
super powerful, definitely.
Mhm, mhm.
like the technique. Yeah,
Yeah. Did you have
I
to
know
think
what.
about how when you were writing it, did you have to think about how you wanted to lay that out, or did it just come to you?
I don't know
Like
because I know some books that they have the same technique. For example, from
mhm.
the United States, the sound and the fury.
Mm,
That's
that's a
an
classic, yeah.
awesome. Yes, it's an awesome book. And
Mhm,
he Faulkner, right? Is
mhm,
the he did the same technique, but
mhm.
he just twist like the narrator's super. One has a mental problem, so the narrate
Yeah.
the yeah the description of the facts are like super
Yeah,
crazy,
right.
and you don't know
That's it,
what is
right.
happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, it's
Yeah, yeah.
it's super nice for literature that
I will
technique.
do that.
Yeah.
Well, there's so many like I mean I have friends who've written stuff where they had to like they wrote the whole thing and then they're like the story is there, but I have to like reinvent the whole thing, like come at it from a
Mm,
different direction and start all over again. So it's
yeah,
interesting how to decide to put those things together. So uh yeah.
yeah.
Are there
So
any yeah, it's about we've been here an hour, we have gained more people. Thank you for joining us.
yeah, we are 28 people here. Thank you
Yeah.
for joining us.
Yes. If you have just come in, this is Samuel Dominguez. He has a newsletter called Miradero, which is basically viewpoint or lookout or viewpoint, something like that.
Yes, something
Yeah.
like that.
I have when I get my email from you, it translates the Miradero part, even though that's part of your newsletter, and it says, thank you, subscriber, for being a part of our viewpoint."
Viewpoint. That's kind of. But I had in mind to create kind of a Miradero in English version, and I
Ah,
was thinking about the name, how
mhm,
to translate that, because I
mhm.
think that I don't like that much of viewpoint for the title,
Yeah.
and I was thinking about doing kind of a joke of writing Miradero, but with double B's and stuff. But I think
Mhm.
that it's not gonna be it's not gonna be funny for English speakers, only for Spanish speakers.
Oh, yeah,
So
right.
I need to think about what will be that name of
Yeah.
Miradero in the English version.
Yeah. I like the Miradero, but
Yeah, maybe I can just keep it
yeah.
in the English version. I don't
I
know.
think I might. Yeah, there's I mean vantage point, viewpoint over I don't know. It doesn't quite ring the
Yeah,
same,
but
you know.
it follows like the meaning of I don't know.
Yeah.
For me, it's different, like because it's the place where you look. Yes, but I don't know. That it's hard for me because obviously English is not my first language. I cannot
Mhm.
play that much with words,
Yeah.
so probably I will need your help for that in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
future.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do with Spanish, and it's very hard because, like, in my poetry even, I like to make up words, and so it doesn't always happen, but, like, I just, like either I play with the sound of something and I make something up that's kinda not a word, but kinda could be, and,
Yeah,
I think everybody should try to make up a word.
yeah. But
And
there is a
insert it, like,
problem.
they say, like, Shakespeare created, like, I don't know how many I'm sure,
Words,
how
yes, of
many
course.
words he made up that we're using
Yeah,
600 years later or whatever, and, so, yeah, I'm not there yet with the Spanish because I don't even know if I'm saying it right in Spanish. And then to make something up on top of that. Now, if I make stuff up by accident.
yeah. But the
So
thing is, that's the good thing of being a native in a language and write in that language. It's like you're owning a house, for example, and you decide, okay, I'm gonna break this wall, I'm gonna create a new room here, and
right.
I'm just gonna do it because the house is mine somehow. But when you're writing in a foreign language, you're kind of paying rent. Like you don't know the rules somehow.
Right.
You don't know where is the limit, what is gonna be interesting or fun, or when it's gonna be just nonsense.
Right.
So that's why I'm not writing in English, because I
Yeah.
really like to have that power of full control, of
Yeah.
full yeah, the full ability to play with words that I
Yeah.
don't have in English.
Yeah.
And I would like to develop that, but it's gonna take some time for sure.
Yeah, well, I'm working on it in Spanish too. So, but I like that. I mean, I think that's why another reason why I like your writing is because I do see that playfulness with the, and that's
Absolutely.
like so big for me is like just we have our like again, you have all the moods, you know, you have all the techniques, but just that being able to push the boundaries of how you express yourself, but also just the
Mhm.
playing being okay, and I think that's what the newsletter lets you do because you can, it's like, okay, if nobody likes it, they're just gonna move on and you're gonna have something for them tomorrow,
Tomorrow is
but
gonna be something new, so they're not gonna remember this. But yes,
but,
I
definitely, yeah, the playfulness, and I can even though I don't get all the Spanish, like, cultural jokes,
references. Yeah.
um, I do pick up that there's something going on,
There
and I
is
like that.
something fun happening
Yeah,
there.
right, right.
So
Something.
just getting that idea is okay. But
Yeah.
yes, definitely, yeah, being able to play with the text is one of the most enjoyable things that you can do as a writer, and it's that thing that keeps you in that literature track, or to
Mhm,
exploring that playfulness. Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, and I think it's why a lot of people, I think not having access or not believing that you have that access is what makes people not like writing or reading.
Yeah.
One of the thoughts I was having about, um even people saying like what they like and what they don't like. Of course, we're allowed to like what we like or we don't like. But when
Mhm.
people say like when they're very strong about like I hate poetry or fantasy is I always like I just want to like I want to put like a little jab, to say like then you just haven't found,
The
there's so many
right
people in the
author or the right
genre.
story.
You've
Yeah.
only, like, I mean, I think of even Shakespeare, how people have gone into prisons, for instance, that said, like, hey, you don't even have an education, but we're going to show you how Shakespeare like talked about the things that you care about or the things that you can like put your heart into, and then these people who are like, oh yeah, that I thought this was just some dumb whatever, and then they
Mhm.
become these Shakespeare experts when they're like putting on these plays in the prison or whatever. I don't know, it's just like finding that like there's a playfulness with language, but also like the meaning, and like
Yes.
you're finding your way into meaning, I guess, and how things connect to you. And so I feel strong. I feel that way about music too. I feel that way about a lot of different art things where it's like if you don't, if it's okay if it's not your calling, like it's not like about making people, but
Yeah.
it's about that opportunity to experience it, and knowing that there's something out there that's for you and you just haven't found it yet. To me,
Absolutely.
gives you hope.
Yes, I totally agree. I think that every book has its moments to be read.
Mhm.
Also that all those genre, they speak about human, and you just need to find that story that speaks to you, right?
Yeah,
And it doesn't matter the genre, like it's more about
right.
what you need to hear, or what in
Mhm,
what moment of life you are.
mhm. Yeah, so
I see some people writing on the chat saying
oh,
that
okay, let's see.
I should keep Miradero.
Oh,
David
I
said
haven't even oh, I
Miradero
haven't even wait,
sounds
hold on.
great,
I
like
have
Armadillo or El Paso. That's true. Mira also said, yeah,
like
just like
Amarillo
keep
El Paso.
Miradero.
I think it translates. I mean, meaning not changing the actual, like not making anglicizing it. I think it works.
Yeah.
But yeah, but the translation in my little email goes vantage point.
Vintage
My
point.
text is like viewpoint. Just let yeah, Mira says change don't change it. Keep it. I want help from your novel notebook. Okay. All right. Yes, people are just
Yeah,
X's.
I
Hello,
should keep
Bob.
Miradero in English apparently.
Yeah. That would be a completely different experience. I finding with my poetry, it's been interesting to translate it. And I'm trying to write if I write directly in Spanish,
A
it's
different
still me,
experience.
but it's still me, but it's not fully me because I can't express myself the way I want to.
Yeah,
But
I
it's
totally
still like
understand that.
but it's like and it's exciting to me in some ways because I'm like, okay, I'm going directly in. I'm trying to bypass the English. And
Mhm.
then when I do something in English and when I translate it to Spanish, I'm like, uh-oh. I don't know
Yeah,
how to do it.
yeah. That's
Poetry, I think, has its own unique extra challenges
yeah, yeah,
because the text is very condensed. Um, but I'm hoping like my dream of being bilingual and being able to like think in another language and be able to kind of find another way into expressing myself. I'm like I'm not there yet, but
yeah. At some point,
it's
I think that is a
yeah.
work in process.
Yeah.
But I would like to write because, for example, do you remember that text that I just published in English, like about the
Oh.
science
Mhm.
behind Caminos de Vuelta? That was the
Mhm.
first text in English that I published in Miradero. I wrote that in Spanish and then I translate that.
Mhm.
But I would like to do that exercise of writing a text just from the beginning
Good.
to the end in English, just
Yeah.
to test myself and to because that's literature as well.
Yeah.
And I want to experience that side of literature where I don't have that the full control that I have in Spanish, right?
Yeah.
So I think that is gonna be interesting to do it one day
Yeah. Yeah.
in Mirada.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that I'm excited.
I'm excited. And then you can give me your feedback
Yeah,
about
right?
it.
No, I think it's, and because it is different, like, I feel like,
Must be.
um, it turns into something completely it's you, but it's like a different piece, you know? And I do like, I mean, the idea that we are where we are, like, that's what I've been trying to, like, think of with my poems in Spanish is, like, I am I think, there was something that, I asked you for help with a one word, and you said, "No, no,
Mhm.
keep it because it's you said it wrong, but it actually is more poetic the way you
Yeah,
said
yeah,
it."
yeah. It's true. I remember
There was not a direct translation for what I was trying to say.
that.
And, and so, yes, I had, like, 5 people uh giving me advice about one word choice that I was having trouble translating. So, but I think that's to me what I love about language and about um just expressing yourself, finding different ways about ways to get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, all right.
That's probably the most enjoyable part of literature, that thing.
Hmm.
Trying to find different ways to get the idea.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. All right. Well, this I'm Rosemary DeSena of La Vida es un poema in Spanish and Life is a poem in English. This is Samuel Domínguez of Miradero, and this has been fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. And as you know, this is my very first interview in English as a writer. Obviously, I had job interviews in English and stuff,
Yeah.
and was really nice to have it with you because I'm gonna remember this for all my life probably because this is the very first one. So thank you for that, Rosemary.
Yes. Thank you for coming. And
No
next time we'll
worries.
do one in Spanish. See how my Spanish goes. But I appreciate it. And yes, if you are bilingual, definitely check out his. So I say this. I mean, this is another whole topic we won't go into, but I say it for the English people. The Google Translate is not perfect, and you will not, like, but, like, I get my email and it gives you the little translate, button. You will get 90% of his, of
The
his
idea.
of his meaning if you it's not perfect, and obviously there's a more, what I would say, if you're doing a real translation, you would do more literature, you'd make sure the word, you'd make sure it was
Yeah.
up to snuff, and then sometimes there's a word that doesn't translate. Like, the one for me that I laughed at was there's esposa,
Esposa. But like,
handcuffs.
okay. 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 Okay.
And so I'm reading this description of what's going on in this, like, action scene, and suddenly I'm like, this does not make sense.
Yeah.
The wives, like, and it's this esposas
Yeah.
is handcuffs in Spanish. Is there
Yeah,
another
it's the
word, or
same word.
is
There
that
are
the
more words. Well, we you can use mujer, woman, but
that's not
I
helpful.
I mean it is what it is. But
Yeah.
I think that it's
So it's
more
either
common to
esposa
use
or woman, and that's what a handcuff is?
and for wife, not for hand.
Oh, okay, okay.
No, for yes, we only have
Oh, yeah,
esposa.
yeah, so yeah,
Grillete.
right. For the wife name, it's
Yeah,
mujer,
yeah,
it's esposa, yeah,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
But handcuff is another scenario, yeah.
No, no, handcuffs. We have grillete, but that's kind of old-fashioned way
Oh,
to
okay.
say it.
Uh-huh.
But yeah. But I
So,
think that is fine. Like there are some people that they only speak English and they can read Miradero, and probably it's better if you translate it with an AI app or something, better than with Google Translator.
yeah,
But yeah, you can get the idea if you if you
yeah,
are
yeah,
interested in what is happening in Miradero.
right, Very good. Thank you all for joining us. We have 34 people, and, I'm so glad you joined us, and, I'll be sending this out in English to the English people. I will be translating it into Spanish, for the Spanish people. And, so everybody can hear what we have to say.
Thank you to all the people here in the chat. Like we had some messages there, but thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much.
Ciao,
Ciao.
ciao.